The second race has a withdrawal, so a new runner comes into the field, and the graphic shows that Packing Good Sing is the horse that is scratched, and Brilliant 8 for Matthew Poon is now in the race. First of the Class 4s over the 1200 metres, and War Weapon has the hood and the pacifiers coming off. Smiling Collector draws a better gate. Noble 1 to the 1200 metres for the first time. Americ Despexo's had 2 trials. Trust Me has the blinkers going on again. United We Stand's never won past 1000 metres, and Joyful Genius is second up. Tommy switches across from the all-weather to the turf.
And the speed in this race, well, United We Stand, he's a speedy horse down the straight, and he wasn't disgraced around the bend last time out. United We Stand. Smiling Collector, he's got pace, but he's obviously got his quirks and issues as well. Does Smiling Collector. Brother War Weapon, Paul, he's been a disappointing horse here, and Brilliant 8 gets into the field with barrier 11.
Yeah, so he just might find it a little bit tricky, Brilliant 8, because he has gone forward and faded in the starts. Noble 1 steps up to 1200 metres, so I think he'll be a little bit handier. And Americ Despexo, the new horse, every commentator's dream. That one has been slow away in all his trials, so I think he'll go back.
He holds a nomination for the weirdest name of the year early on in the season too. Noble 1, Paul, is a horse that you've been pretty keen on lately. What about Up in Distance? Are you sticking solid?
I am. I like this horse. I thought up to the 1200 looks ideal as well. Just love the way he finished off this race. Just failed to get the eventual winner, but he finished off nicely. This will be his first go up to 1200. I think he's been crying out for it, so I think he can win this race.
Yeah, he definitely goes. And you can see United We Stand there in the red and white on the far side. He just knocked up late in the piece there, but did like the way Noble 1 drove through late.
All right, good report for Noble 1. Still at Sha Tin, Tom, and Brother runs 30, leads them for home in this.
Yeah, and he was sort of headed the last 150. This was the race that was won by Beauty Eternal, who was never on the track, but it was a good effort. He's been knocking on the door. He's had multiple placings now from his 14 starts, yet to win, however, but it was a nice enough effort from him. War Weapon, Paul, having his second run down in grade, but he's been disappointing.
He has been, hasn't he? Look, yeah, Brother was a good enough run from him. He did get his own way in front. That was the little query here, and I think with United We Stand in the race, he won't.
We'll see Beauty Eternal later in the program too. He goes up in grade on the back of that victory. Smiling Collector, Paul. Now this is a trial from him. He runs second in it. He's coming back in distance from last time, which was 1400 too.
Yeah, I think he's better back at the 1200 metres. That's where he did win his race as well. The 1400 metres, like, it wasn't a bad run, but I like him back at 1200, so I'm going to include him.
He was keen in his trial, I thought. He did stay on okay. He jumped a bit awkwardly last start and again was keen and faded in the straight. I even thought there were signs on the trial on the turn that he was trying to run away from the fence, so he's clearly got his quirks, this horse.
Yeah, doesn't like the fence at times, Smiling Collector, and he is drawn down in barrier number 2. But we know for you, Paul, it's race 2, number 3.
Yeah, Noble 1. I do like this horse, and the 1200 looks ideal for him, so yeah, he's definitely on top for me. From Smiling Collector back to 1200. Joyful Genius. Look, this horse drew wide last time. He's drawn nicely in barrier number 5. I think he'll get a lot better run, and I like him back on the turf as well with a lightweight. And Brave Dreams, another one that will get back. He'll be running on late, but he has drawn barrier 1, so there might be the temptation to ride him slightly more forward. 3, 2, 12 and 8.
Going with the 8 here, Brave Dreams. I thought he finished off pretty well last time out. He had no early pace, but he closed nicely on the fence, and there was no pressure put on him in his recent trial. He was due to line up back on the 12th of October, but was scratched with a regular heart issue there after a vet inspection. So 8 Brave Dreams, 3 Noble 1. I've always been a fan of Joyful Genius. He's got a better gate this time round and back on the turf, and Brother goes in. So 8, 3, 12 and 11.
And he's also the early favourite, Brave Dreams. He's come up at 4.2 on the win line.